Betty Rock, does the name Lonnie Frisbee mean anything to you?
Not really.
Well, it didn't to me either until I saw the new Erwin Brothers film, Jesus Revolution. It's that one that's like faith-based, and it's not the usual like faith-based film. Yes, it's a movie that tells the faith story of Pastor Greg Laurie after meeting this hippie preacher named Lonnie Frisbee. And what's cool is it's kind of all true. It was set in the 60s and 70s during the Jesus movement. And I'm telling you, Rock, you would absolutely love the soundtrack. It's really good. Your dad raised you on that stuff.
What did you like about the movie?
I like that the movie's about a guy searching for identity and inclusion and truth. And even though it's set in the 70s, man, it's exactly what people are looking for today. And the answer is Jesus. It's the same then as it is now. And I also really liked that it didn't paint a perfect picture of the church either.
Really?
Yeah, like it showed men's egos kind of getting in the way of God, and it showed the intolerance of people inside of faith. But it also showed that despite that, if we just get out of the way, revival is possible.
So what did you not like about the movie?
That I wasn't in it. Like that bothered me a little bit. I got to tell you, the Irwins, they cast Kelsey Grammer, and he's great. They got Jesus from The Chosen. I mean, that's a great get, but they could have had me for a whole lot less. But in the end, man, I really thought it was a great movie.
If you want to check it out and hopefully enjoy it as much as Wally did, it's in theaters right now.
Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, all the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. Congratulations, you are not getting a rant from me, because I did a miniature rant. If you've already listened to the podcast, I did get a rant off my chest today. And I sat there after, because that happened on the radio show, and I did think about it. I look at the phones after I do things that I think could be a problem to see if people are calling and complaining. Because that is the one thing I like about doing the radio show. It's like you get instant feedback from times that you step on a landmine. Mm-hmm. People like, and then it's a good fight.
I don't think I've seen you like argue or fight with someone though.
Not in a while.
It's been a hot second.
You just jinxed him.
Yeah, that's
tomorrow.
Okay.
I hope.
Yeah, here's hoping.
I'm
Fingers
getting a little
crossed.
more comfortable with those.
Yeah, I know.
Those used to scare me, but now it's like this could be fun.
It is funny to watch you and Betty. You get very uncomfortable with the conflict, and I just lean into it and relish it.
Well, because call me crazy.
I know,
but I don't find death threats comforting.
Yeah, and for me, it was always a badge of honor. Like you weren't doing this job well.
I don't like that.
Like that's why I was so surprised when I got like my first death threat in Christian radio, because I got them before in mainstream radio. I had somebody leave a weird note in my mailbox one time, so they knew where I lived. Like that was weird in mainstream radio.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah,
like,
that one got close. That one got a little too close to home. That one cops had to get called. But like getting like a death threat here, I was so surprised when that happened. I'm like, this is awesome. And my wife was like, no, it's not good. I'm like, no, it's like we're still doing radio, man.
No, thank you.
But anyway. So no rant there, but my rant was justified. But I was watching to see if people went nuts or if I was going to get emails today or a problem from a boss. Like the new boss is like in town for the first week. How great would that be? Like his first week and he gets 5 emails from people that are upset with me. Like, hey man, welcome Scott. Okay, so here's one that some people were upset about on TV, though. Wheel of Fortune. How could Wheel of Fortune possibly make anybody mad?
I can't think of a way.
Okay, now this is kind of a woke thing, but I'm not going to go nuts on it. I promise. I promise. I know, I promise. I swear. Okay, so they did a puzzle. It's like the last round. They do this puzzle, okay? Mm-hmm. And so the contestant gets all these letters, and there is it's 2 words, and the first word only has like 4 blanks left to fill in, and the second word needs 1 vowel. That's it. It's 1 letter away. So you could pretty much figure out what the second word is in this. And so the person is going through and they don't get it right. Oh. And the reason they didn't get it right was the first word. I'm going to give you the first word. You tell me what you think the second word was. Okay? So it's a person, founding
Father.
Exactly. That's exactly what you should guess. Founding father. Not right.
Like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Founding. And
wait, so they had founding.
Yeah.
But they needed to guess the second word?
The second word was...
did they have any clues, any hints? It was just founding.
And then they had all but 1 word of the second, all but 1 letter of the second word. The second word was P blank ATNER. Founding... Partner. Founding partner.
They didn't say that?
No, they missed it. They missed it.
What?
Is founding partner just a way for them to get the word father out of the
exactly.
equation?
There you go.
Like, don't forget the founding mothers of which history doesn't write about.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
Wokeism on the wheel.
This was Wheel of Fortune?
Yes, Wheel of Fortune. So woke has hit the wheel.
Founding partner.
That's
Yeah,
super
because we
interesting.
can't say father, we can't say mother.
So dumb.
They are birth human. We can't say gender. We can't say anything. So now I did dig a little bit into this because there were a lot of people that were like, "This is woke nonsense
That's too
and it's
far.
crazy.
Yeah.
You've lost your mind." And I was instantly in
I'm
that
sure.
camp.
Oh, you didn't even need to be ushered in.
No, I was all in.
You're banging down the door yourself.
I was a founding member of that revolt. Absolutely.
A founding member, not a founding father of the revolt?
Yes,
Oh, my
exactly.
word.
I see
You're
your point.
so woke.
But no, so here's what other people were commenting, and it did make sense though. So founding partner, people were saying that's not a term, but then people were saying no, it actually is a term, but it's more of a legal and business term.
Yeah.
So founding partner is used like for companies,
Like a law
organizations.
firm?
Yeah, exactly. You can be a founding partner of an organization,
But not a country.
right. And so founding father just is where everybody's head went initially.
So it's normal.
But it is an actual word because I was like, that's not even a term, but apparently it is.
Yeah, it's a term used to designate the shareholder or shareholders
Right.
of one of the first companies acquired by an equity-backed blah, blah, blah. blah.
Yeah. So I mean, it is legit, but it felt
But that's
so
not
woke.
what they meant it for.
Right. You
Right.
feel
It wasn't
cheated.
describing someone that's for a law company. It
Right.
was describing someone who has
Yeah.
found a country.
Right. That's what you think. And so that's what, so people were really pushing
Wow.
back on Wheel of Fortune. Poor Pat Sajak had some emails to answer that night. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
That, if it was like they did it to be woke, then that's crazy. If they did it to be
Founding member.
tricky because they didn't want to give away $50,000, all right, that's a whole other
Right.
ball game on that one.
Right.
There.
Still
So,
boo.
yeah, I thought it was kind of funny though. Lady Rock, what do you got?
Ticketmaster, we've talked about this before. They've gotten out of hand with their pricing. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you want a nosebleed section seat in the very back to see someone, you're going to have to shell out at the least probably $200.
Oh, yeah.
After the fees and everything like
Oh yeah.
that. But some people are finding out that it's actually cheaper if they fly to Europe to see a concert instead.
Why?
It can actually save you money. So if you've already got airline miles or hotel points, that can offset the travel cost. So some people are saying, like one content creator, so take it for what you will, they claim that they got floor seats to see Beyonce and Jay-Z in Paris for $92.
Oh my goodness.
$92. Those same tickets in her hometown of Dallas,
That's just the
they would have
fees.
cost $900 more.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they're saying you can see these same artists over in Europe. And think about it too, this way, you could actually get a European vacation
Right.
if you made a trip out of it. The reason that you can see these acts cheaper in European nations is because they actually have a consumer protection law.
Oh, that would be nice.
And here in America, we don't have that.
They don't have the godless Ticketmaster that has no soul and is just
Right.
trying to pillage and plunder. It's like the what is it in the Bible? The lion seeking whom he may devour. That is Ticketmaster.
Well, and it's sad to say that you can actually fly to another country
Yeah.
and that is cheaper than seeing acts like Taylor Swift or Beyonce or whoever here in America.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, well, I've had people tell me they were trying to get Toby tickets that were $60, and after the fees they were $200.
Yeah.
And you actually end up paying double what the ticket face price value is.
Right. I really want to see Nate Bargatze live.
Yeah.
But I mean, once you calculate all the
Yeah.
fees together just for 2 tickets, I'm like, no, thank you.
Then you're like, is it cheaper to go get them scalped the day of and take your chances?
Yeah.
And it might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
It's just ridiculous. And the thing is, too, I think we talked about this as well. Ticketmaster's solution to making people happier with them is to put out an article or a video explaining
right.
why it is what they do. So explaining this fee is for this, this
Right.
fee is for this, this fee is for
Not
this.
helping.
No,
It doesn't
I don't
help at all.
Just knowledge isn't going to make me calm down.
Well, especially when it's erroneous, and they'll go, and these are for handling fees. What does that mean? You're not handling anything anymore. It's digital. We were speaking of flights. My wife and I, we booked a trip in August, and we're going over to Europe. And so we were looking
to see Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yes, luck would have it. Yeah, and
You guys
so
have always talked about that.
maybe I'll sneak in a One Direction reunion concert while I'm over there. Hopefully, but I was looking at flights, and flights are like super expensive right now. So like right now, you couldn't save money because the flights are brutal. But Marty's brother has like diamond status on Delta, and he flies first class.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he flies first class all the time. He has over 700,000 frequent flyer miles. Okay, so that's a lot. And so we were kidding with him. We're like, hey, why don't you give us some of the frequent flyer miles so that we can fly business class and do the like laid down seats, to go there. And we were like, oh, maybe he'll do this. This would be awesome.
Great idea.
Yeah, right. I was like all excited about it. So Marty goes on to look up what it would cost for miles to do this. One person, one of us on miles was 500,000 miles plus money to get that seat.
No.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, he's not giving us that, and I wouldn't either. Yeah, isn't that insanity?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
She did find it with, if you were paying for it, one of the flights was $3,500 for like business class, which is crazy. Like for one person, that's $7,000 for two. But I mean, it's crazy expensive, but not as bad as some of the other ones. Like there are other ones that were on really bad flights, like long flights, long layovers, everything like that, and they were $6,900 for
that is
tickets.
Crazy.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Like,
why is it so expensive? I mean, I guess fuel and
but because you're paying for that privilege of being able to lay down. I mean, it's amazing. Our last flights to Africa and how bad that
I would have
hurts.
killed for a first passenger, first class ticket.
Are you going to go with us next year?
Don't ask me right now.
I need you. Yeah, she's like, I still have PTSD.
Yeah, I still need to calm down from that one because the thing
post-traumatic seat disorder.
I think the thing is that when you go on those trips, you find it invigorating.
I'm energized by
it. It is just you love it. And the thing is I get energized by something different.
Yeah.
Whereas it might drain you.
Right.
And for me, it drains me. Like I still need time to kind of like come down from, because to me the inconveniences of, and I sound like this is a first
world problem, privileged American.
But I mean, sitting like a pretzel for 17 hours in a flight, it's like, oh my gosh.
I was talking to our pastor the other day at church, and he had just got back from the Amazon. We have a ministry that works in the Amazon, and it's a rougher trip. And he was telling me about it and stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, I need to go on one of those trips with y'all for sure. I know, I would love it.
You would love the more rougher ones.
And that's what's so funny you say that. I literally said the rougher the better. And he goes, oh, I love that.
Yeah,
and he goes, it's rough. And I said, yeah, I love those trips.
I was talking to a guy at my church that he actually went on a kind of like a trip like that. And I forget where he said they went, but he said it was one of the roughest trips that he's ever done. And he doesn't think he'll ever do it again. Now, given he's like in his 50s probably, but he said that they didn't have hotel rooms, or they didn't even have a roof over their head. Mm-hmm. They were given a hammock.
Nice.
And that's what they stayed in.
Nice.
And so they had to find a tree, whatever. Then they had to drape a mosquito net over them. And then they had to wash their clothes in the river that was nearby, but they could not drink that water.
No.
They had to put tablets and boil it, and they had to deal with snakes as well as spiders and tigers.
I love all of that.
And they said that it was so hot that during the day they were helping people like building homes and stuff in the nearby villages, and you would get so hot and sweaty from it all. So at night you'd take off your shirt and shorts or whatever and hang them up to dry. And he said the very next morning they were
still
just
wet.
as wet because it was so humid and hot. And then they went to this nearby village that they were helping out with. And I forget what he called it, but there was something of a plant that the women would chew.
Oh, yeah.
And as they chewed it, they would spit it out in this jar.
Choco or something like
and
that.
And they put it around like in a circle. They'd stand around in a circle and pass it around. And then this friend of mine and other visitors, they would stand in the circle and they were asked to drink
it
from that jar.
Yes.
And he said you wanted to be beside the youngest women because they had all their teeth.
Oh.
And so what they put in it was at least chewed up. But if you got near an older lady, you might get something else.
Yeah, that would be hard. Like I've had to eat things that I didn't want to eat, in places, and I've found a way to do it subtly. And like on this last trip too, like I was taking people's food and putting it on my plate and then covering it up because I knew how to do it. But like, yeah, you don't want to be rude or disrespectful. That one would be hard. That would be
But that's
super
something
hard.
I think you should do because I think you enjoy that kind of stuff. Whereas
I do.
And given too, you have to think about for women, it's a lot more difficult.
Oh, without a
than
doubt.
it is for men.
100%.
So I get where you're saying like, yeah, the rougher the better.
Yeah.
But if you're a woman,
that's asking a lot.
It's hard for me to travel with my wife because like I don't want her to be uncomfortable, sick, anything like that. And she got sick on this last trip, but she rock started out and did a great job. But like, yeah, I can handle lots of discomfort and be fine, especially on those trips. Not now on vacation, I don't want it. On vacation, Delta, you lost my bag for 9 days on a cruise. Whole other story. But like
tush on a cruise. Excuse me.
I know. But I actually handled that really well. I actually did not be a lunatic.
And that was something that your wife even said on this trip. She was like, she can deal with a lot, especially like y'all had hotels and stuff in the past where it was sketch.
Bad,
it was bad. And you have water that's not hot, like it's just cold and you don't know what you're going to find, things like that. But she can put up with it in these countries. But she said when she gets to the U.S., she expects a lot more than that.
And the thing about it is too, like when we're working, when we travel with Compassion, for example, we're working, and so we stay at a good hotel. When we go out to the villages and we gather their stories and we come back, we're posting. So we have to stay at a hotel that has good internet, because
and only the nice hotels have the good
because you
internet.
can't do your job otherwise. And so we'll stay at a nice hotel. Other places I've been, it's like we're staying with the people that we're doing stories with. And my favorite was a $7 a night hotel, and it was everything you would expect with a $7 a night hotel. It was bad, but again, I loved it. Like it was one of those things where I found myself even in those moments. I was so thankful that night for a warm blanket. That was all I got that night. But I found myself going, God, thank you. Like it refocused me and recentered me on what really was important, and to be grateful for the littlest thing, And then, because the thing about like traveling on mission trips is, you can handle a lot because you have an expiration date. You know that in 5 days, 7 days, whatever your time is, you have an expiration date and you're looking forward to that. And I always try to be mindful of that because you're dealing with people that don't have that expiration date. They don't have that hope of this is going to end. This is their life, And so you always try to be super mindful of that. And so I do like feeling it more. I like when it hurts a little more. If I didn't have the pressure of having to post and work when we travel, why we travel, I'd be like, send me to the roughest part, the worst neighborhood, like let's do this.
Which is why if you did go on like one of the our church trips, then that wouldn't be a work one for you. You probably could just be in the absolute zone of just being
serving
a
the
servant
people
of humanity versus a servant of something that is going to be good in the future and is good for our company and for helping Compassion.
That's why I've told my friends at Compassion, I'm like, you know what? Someday when I'm done with this, I'd like to work and take people on trips where I'm not working, I'm facilitating and I'm helping people work and tell the story better to have a better impact, but I don't have the pressure of coming up with all the content, and I can just be in the moment because I take a ton of the pressure on of doing it well and work hard while we're there. So anyway, but that was so that's a little bit of the behind the scenes of kind of the way we do things. Lady Rock, do you have any birthdays for us?
I do not, but I do have a question.
I would love a question.
Ooh. Okay, so this question is from Christina. She said she celebrated her birthday earlier. We already did a shout out for her, but her question is, she just turned 18.
Oh, nice.
And so she would like to have some advice on what you would give to someone about adulthood, like just turning 18 and entering adulthood. What advice would you give?
Easy. You don't deserve anything. You deserve nothing because there's a sense of entitlement from people that, well, I went to school or I did this and I deserve this. The reality is, no, the world isn't going to give you anything. You don't deserve anything. And so work hard. Work harder than everybody else and you'll earn your way. And so, I mean, it's real simple. Like, do what you say you're going to do and do it well. If you do those, man, you're going to be a rock star in your job. And then doing well in your job will also then afford you the lifestyle that you want to do and have the fun of
Yeah, because
life.
a lot of people are assuming that they deserve it. And so they're not going to work as hard. But if you do, you definitely stand out above the rest. I would say don't feel pressured to go straight to college right after high school. I know a lot of friends of mine that did do that. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I would say it's not wise if you really don't know what you're going for. Like,
because it's too expensive now.
It is. It's too expensive. And just to throw that money towards something just because you're told you need to have that piece of paper, I don't think that's wise. If there's like a trade that you really love doing, man, we need those people. So if you want to go to a trade school, there's nothing to be ashamed of for that.
Absolutely not.
We need those people. And if anything, I've heard plumbers make some really great money. And if anything, they're making more than what people do when they go to college and spend 4 years of their life. And I've done the college thing, and it is a lot of work. And to work towards a degree that you're in debt for and then you never use it, that was just a waste of time and money.
Maybe you can answer this for me. Why? Because you mentioned how much money plumbers make, and they do really well. Why can none of them afford belts if they're doing that well?
Question.
You know?
It's really not.
Maybe we just need to get rid of the plumber's crack situation.
Maybe there's like this contract that they sign when they say, "Hey, I'm going to be a plumber," and they're like, "Okay, but you can never buy a belt.
Yeah,
you have to buy pants at least 2 sizes too big."
You go to plumbing school, and like your qualification for getting in isn't like an SAT score. They're like, turn around. You're perfect. If your crack goes halfway up your back, you're what we're looking for. I love the Aftercast. Yeah, you know what? I think, like you talk about, there's that fine line for some, and everybody's different. For some people, going to college and finding themselves and finding what they want to do, that's what they need to do. They should do that. But for other people, man, go be an entrepreneur, or if it's not for you yet, like go to junior college. A lot of states, you can go to junior college for free, and that can help you find, you can be moving forward towards college. You can find what you want to do, and then you're saving so much money because it is no joke how much college costs now.
It's a lot less pressure.
Right. And at 18, you become such a different person 10 years down the road. Your interests will change. And sometimes it takes you a couple of years to figure out what it is you actually want to do. And that, I mean, that's what I did when I got out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. And so I just got a job and I worked. And
see, I did. You know, it's funny because like I did the same thing because my school scared me into going because they're like, oh, you're not going to, my guidance counselor, you're not going to do well in college. Well, okay, thanks for that.
That scared you into
not going. Like I didn't go. Yeah, I didn't go.
You went a little later.
And so I worked with my dad for a bunch of years. And so like I was at least making money. I was working towards things. And then when I decided to go to school, I could actually afford to go. But it's weird. That's that thing of like when people take the gap year. I don't know why. Like, because in essence, you would have taken a gap couple years. I would have taken a gap couple years. But it wasn't that I'm backpacking through Europe. I stopped. I went out of high school and I went to work the next day. And I worked like till I went to school. And I worked all through college. Right. So I didn't just like drop out of life. Like I think that gap year thing to me drives me nuts, man. I'm going to go find myself.
Like after high school, I packed up all my stuff and I moved out into an apartment with a roommate of mine. Yeah. And got a job, the same job I had been working at since I was probably 12. Yeah. So just moving into full time instead of part time. But I would say that all my interests, like the things that I probably would have gone to college for back when I was 18, is nothing I would have gone for when I turned 30.
Right.
Everything changed. Like I became a different person. My perspective on things changed, and what I saw was important back then was not even close to what I saw it as at 30.
Yeah. I mean, college is a good place to grow and to figure out who you are kind of thing, and what you like to do. Like I had no idea I was going to do radio. Zero idea. I mean, my degree is in organizational communication. So that was setting me up to be an HR person or like a person that deals with inter-office communication and how to better, more efficiently do that. And like,
I can't imagine you in HR.
No, and wearing a suit and stuff every day.
That would be so boring.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I was in HR at Toys R Us for a little bit, and and I hired a felon who stole from us. No, it was an accident.
Who stole from you?
Yeah,
you didn't do like the background check?
I did it. I did something wrong.
Did he have the bag next to him?
Yeah. No, what happened was okay. So I was like in college, and so they hired me to be the HR person hiring temporary seasonal help. And so I hired this person, and there's a box you check. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? And this person didn't check it. They left it blank. And I missed it. And it turned out that person, they didn't lie because they didn't check the box. So they're not in trouble. I was in trouble. Yeah, exactly. I just hired a thief, and they stole like $3,000 worth of stuff from us. And my manager was really cool though. Like she was so kind of me because I felt so bad. Like, because I wanted to do the job well, and I messed up. Yeah. And she was like, you know what? It's tough hiring seasonal people. These things happen, and it's okay. This isn't on you. Because I'm like, do I have to pay that back? Because I mean, you're gonna have to dock my pay for a while because you know what I make. I mean, I think I was probably making like what $6 an hour or something like that.
You were HR but minimum wage.
Yeah. Because I was just like a
college kid.
A college like
that's
job.
Interesting.
It wasn't like a full-time gig. It was like you were kind of helping out with seasonal hiring. And so, yeah, I did it really badly.
Gavin, would you give any advice?
I guess like you spend all of your younger years, your first 18 years being taught things. But I feel like once you turn 18, it's important to learn how to teach yourself things. Because I feel like when I got into, riding solo, no parents, they were there for me, but weren't there for me like physically every single day. So you learn how to like take on a lot of things on your own. And there's stuff you just don't learn in high school to be prepared for. And so I think learning how to like research things, how to YouTube things nowadays, because that's a great resource, but just learning how to teach yourself things.
Yeah, YouTube is so great for kids now because before, I mean, I remember moving out thinking I knew how to do stuff like because I had seen it happen or you just take it for granted, and then having to call my mom and being like, okay, now wait, how do I make beef stroganoff again?
Yeah, it's like, what? How do I boil water?
Yeah, I mean, literally.
Be making beef stroganoff. You should be making hot dogs.
Oh, no, it wasn't all bougie.
Ramen.
It was hamburger meat and a Lipton beef stroganoff package for $1. So I was eating cheap. I was poor, like super poor when I was in college, man. Like my wife and I, we were dating in college, and it was a big deal for us to do like pizza on Friday nights. That was like a big deal, and we'd go get like a $5 Hungry Howie's pizza, and but you know what? Those times, like the struggle in those times, is good. I think it's really good. And like I know I've tried to insulate my daughter from some hardships and stuff like that, and take care of her and everything. But then, like there's times she'll call me. She's never asked for money. Like she's so good about that. She wants to be independent. She's never asked for money. But there's times she's like, yeah, and I'm not buying this because broke life. And then I saw her because I can see all of her accounts. Yeah. That little sneak. That little girl is saving so much money.
Yeah, she's telling you one thing.
She is. She's like, I'm broke, and like, I'd love to go do this, but I'm broke, and I think she wants me to pay for it. But I'm not falling for it anymore because I'm like, oh yeah, I saw your checking account. You're doing great. Like you're doing better than I was. Like my first 10 years out of college, man.
# liar life.
Oh yeah, like she saved all of the money, like all the money she got from graduation. She saved.
Oh wow, well done. She's fine.
And I had paid her half a semester of tuition to her college. It's kind of a graduation thing because I said, if you can graduate earlier, you're going to save me a whole semester of tuition and I'll give you half of that. And so I stayed true to that and gave her that. So that gave her a chunk of money. She saved it. Like,
but # broke life.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Hey, Dad.
I know. But no, I'm super proud of her for like she does, she goes thrifting for clothes. She will buy new clothes.
There's so many things you can waste money on, whereas like thrifting, You don't have to buy the organic food.
If you are a guy and you are not buying shirts at Marshall's, then who are you, Donald Trump? Like they have $7 to $12 shirts that are amazing.
I know. You live there.
I live them. Denim and flowers. You're going to have to get one extra size up because they're a European cut. But trust me, you will thank yourself. Go to Marshall's, Denim and Flowers. I need a sponsorship. I need them to sponsor me.
You really do.
I need to write them. I'm write that company.
I hate to stop this conversation, but we've got a call that we've got to make in 4 minutes.
Oh, shoot.
Flashback.
Okay, great. Love it. All right, well, that's going to do it for your Aftercast. Thanks for being a potty.